Hannah, thank you so much for your time and accepting our invitation for this ARDD sponsor interview. And on behalf of the team, we are more than grateful to have you as a sponsor because thanks to sponsors like you, this conference exists and can bring the longevity minds together so that the field moves forwards even more towards the ultimate goal, which is ending aging, isn't it? So thank you
Yeah,
so much
definitely.
for your time. And can you please tell me more what distinguishes True Diagnostics in the longevity field?
Yeah, thanks so much for the introduction and the opportunity. I'm super excited to be actually attending ARDD in person for the first time this year. So I hope to meet people who are listening to this right now and make people more aware of what we're doing at True Diagnostics. So let me define True Diagnostic, who we are, what we really do first. We are a health data company at our core. We specialize in measuring, interpreting, and really understanding the fluid epigenome. What makes us different from other companies is we actually own our own laboratory in Lexington, Kentucky. So we have a beautiful space. It's about 20,000 square feet and have the lab in-house. So we know where every sample is at every single time point, and it's only being touched by our trusted laboratory technicians. We're also CLIA, CAP, and CLEP certified, meaning we follow all of the rules and regulations and guidelines as any standard laboratory should be. So we're really excited to start to reveal how epigenetics is much more than even just an aging biomarker. What we're starting to see is that we can really almost report out anything through the lens of epigenetics itself, as long as we create, train, and validate the algorithm appropriately. So it's a really interesting space to be in, Dominica. I'm super excited to even give a presentation in person at ARDD about some of the newer work we've been doing as well.
Well, I can't wait for your presentation too. More than excited to hear your results. So please tell me, are you working directly B2C or are you also collaborating with academia for the research?
Yeah, I would say our main actual audience for, the products that people see out there, this biological age test, is usually healthcare providers in the integrative functional medicine space. We do sell D2C online, really just for that commercialized reporting side. However, we do a lot of work with the academic and university partnerships that we have. So we've created new models or new predictors with universities such as the Buck Institute for Aging.
Mhm.
We have partnered with Duke and Columbia, Stanford. We've worked with Ohio State. We worked with Harvard for one of our most recent publications. The preprint came out last year. That was with our Omic MH, which was an integrative multi-omics approach to quantify biological age with electronic medical records. So to date, that was really exciting because that Omic MH biological age clock looks to be the best in terms of predicting all-cause mortality and morbidity. So I would say we do a lot of work with researchers really identifying new and novel biomarkers, looking at epigenetics and combining it with larger data sets.
That's absolutely fascinating, and it seems like your solution actually helps to drive the field forward, move the needle forward at a great scale. So congratulations for that, and I know on behalf of the field, thank you for coming up with it. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, please go on.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, we also do, some more outside clinical trials. So, people who are really wanting to look at how their supplements or medications or even procedural based therapies affect these biomarkers. So we've partnered with even companies like Dr. Jeffrey Bland's Big Bold Health, Wild Health Clinic here located in Lexington, Kentucky, looking at the impact of ketamine on epigenetics. Working with Dr. Joel Foreman on the nutritarian diet and longevity. We're even working with groups like Olaplex to create phenotypic skin clock studies to look at how you may be aging according to your skin. So we do a lot of other outside clinical trials using and leveraging our healthcare provider network and their patient network as well, outside of, the academic and collaborations that we do.
Wow. Okay. So you really do a lot. So if you don't mind sharing, which parts do you want to focus on your ARDD talk?
Yeah, so what we're going to be focusing on for the ARDD talk is what we call these epigenetic biomarker proxies. So we're really going to be focusing on taking epigenetics from a larger scale and breaking it down into more granular scale. So I want to go back to maybe that omic MH study, right? Where we created the best biological age clock created to date. So in this particular study, we were actually able to look at about 27,000 in targeted proteins, 8,500 metabolites, 61 clinical lab values, and about 1 million DNA methylation markers. With this, we were able to actually choose which individual components of the algorithm were the most correlated with aging. So that's what really sets omic MH apart, is its ability to incorporate a wide array of data, including epigenetic, proteomic, metabolomic, and clinical information into a single DNA methylation-based measure. So that really nice comprehensive approach not only enhances, the prediction and understanding of biological aging, but it really opens new avenues for identifying clinically relevant connections that are central to the entire aging process. That's what I think is really going to move the needle, and be exciting to discuss at ARDD, because by leveraging the vast amount of varied data we have through modern omic technologies, that specific study offers a more nuanced, multi-dimensional understanding of aging. So the development of the omic MH clock as a robust biomarker for biological aging really offers a promising potential for improving the identification and management of age-related diseases and conditions, ultimately trying to solve the issue we're all coming together for at ARDD, which is to contribute to the advancements of more personalized and, I think, preventative healthcare strategies for aging.
And of course, the entire longevity medicine is based around gathering data and analyzing them later with AI and everything. So data is really the cornerstone of all of it, and you are using and gathering that very well from what I can hear. And
Yeah.
then I'm sure that everybody who will hear your talk at ARDD will be as impressed or even more impressed than I am. So, and I have no doubts that people will just go after you the moment you get off stage, and you will have no the single free moment at the coffee breaks and everything. So let's create an ideal scenario, because at ARDD we also want to create an opportunity for you to help grow, to help just have new partnerships or new avenues to just move the needle even more forward. So in this ideal world, who would you like to approach you? What kind of partnerships are you looking forward to, or just people? Like let's take the road of imagination here.
Yeah, definitely. I think we welcome, any and all conversations. If you ask any of our collaborators, we're pretty easy to work with, and we'll try and make it work as long as, the necessary resources are there. So our customer, or the people we engage with, is pretty wide in terms of that ideal customer avatar. So I'd love to speak with, I think, more investigative researchers. So again, creating new and novel biomarkers from this data. That's what really excites us, understanding what the epigenetic modifications mean even outside of aging itself. So we're just really excited about the opportunity to connect with people that we've worked with even in the past and get an update on the projects that they've been working on, but also people who we've never spoken to before as well, to understand what they're doing. And I know you have, your picture of the sponsors from 2023 in your background right now, and the media as well. I think we've probably spoken with someone from every single company, or almost every single company on that
Wow,
list,
okay.
in the past. So our outreach team does an amazing job at just making sure we're connected. But I think, yeah, definitely anyone who wants to start to find new and novel biomarkers connecting epigenetics as well. So yeah, we have a couple other kind of age predictors available, and we'd love to run those age predictors historically on older data sets to see how they perform.
Okay, so we will definitely highlight that in the interview notes for the people to remember. And this year we'll also have many sponsors who have not sponsored ARDD before, so someone novel, some people who are, let's say, just at the entry stage of the field. So there is always someone new to talk to, some new ideas, and let's also not forget about the participants who maybe don't have a company yet. Perhaps they're affiliated with the university, but even just the enthusiasts can, you never know how the conversation will evolve. Even just through
Yeah,
exchange of ideas can spark some new ways of collaboration.
that's a good point. And again, I haven't actually attended ARDD, so I may have forgotten, unfortunately, more of the enthusiasts and people who are just there wanting to learn, or even students, right? Like researchers who want to get more experience with these more, not necessarily academia-based positions, but more industry-based positions. We're always looking for people to add to our bioinformatics team, or kind of to our data, management and information team as well. So if there's anyone who's listening to this and thinking they want to just learn, or even possibly looking for a paid position, definitely reach out and approach us at the conference if you're there in person, or send us a message via email. We're always looking for more people to add on to the team as we continue to grow. We definitely need more resources. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great point as well.
Well, I'm sure it's an even better point for everybody who's listening to that, and will for sure even promote that you are looking for people, because I'm sure that people are looking at you. So this is where symbiosis happens. And taking it a little bit more towards True Diagnostics again, in the past, can you please tell me a story of a milestone that you reached that allowed you for such an enormous and impressive growth?
Yeah, well, I think I may give you a new biological age clock that we actually just created, and it became available yesterday. But I think historically, this is really going to push the field in the right direction. And again, it's going to be part of what we're talking about ARDD as well. This is our Symphony Age clock, which is a single blood methylation test to quantify aging heterogeneity across 11 physiological systems. So we know that the development of systems-based methylation clocks represents a massive advancements in the field of aging research by offering more granular and a comprehensive view of aging across all different systems. So what we've done is we've actually employed a combination of supervised and unsupervised machine learning methods. And that approach has successfully linked DNA methylation patterns with system-specific clinical chemistry, functional measurements, mortality risk, which really accumulated in the creation of 11 distinct system-specific scores. And those encompass a very wide range of systems, all from heart, lung, kidney, liver, brain, immune, inflammatory, blood, musculoskeletal, hormone, and metabolic systems. So this is a huge step forward in the field because, again, we're getting more granular. And one of the key strengths of that specific approach is the ability to predict a wide variety of outcomes. It's things like aging phenotypes, conditions specific to each system, with greater accuracy than existing epigenetic clocks from just a single global measure of aging, right? Because we know we all age at different rates. We all don't have lung cancer at the same exact time, or we all don't have a liver cancer at the same exact time. So think of your organs in your body at ticking at different rates. So we're now offering a nuanced understanding that could really revolutionize how we approach aging and age-related diseases. So this is a very, very exciting collaboration that we've been working on with Dr. Albert Higgins Chen and Raghav Sehgal from Yale. We couldn't have done it without them. They're, the creators of these clocks at the end of the day. And now we're able to offer them through our TruDiagnostic platform as well.
That's wonderful to hear. So you're telling that this symphony clock is already available clinically?
It is available clinically, and
Wow.
we're able to offer it, clinically to, our B2B partners, whether it be the healthcare providers I mentioned, or anyone who wants to do research with us as well. We can offer it also B2C. So it is available as of yesterday. I know this recording may go, maybe posted later, but it was available as of June 25th.
I'm blown away, seriously, because first of all, that's so impressive. 11 systems with just one test. This is something we used to dream of in the field, and now it's June 2024 and it's accessible. And second of all, something that I pity very often is that it takes a long time from the academic paper and the research to actually get translated into the clinic. And since you published and made it available in such a short time with such an accuracy, that's an achievement worth of publishing everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you also you keep making all of these good points that I want to come back to is we sit in a really unique area of the longevity field, if you'd like to call it, or again, kind of this aging research field, where we work with a lot of researchers on one side of things. And you're exactly correct. They're publishing all of these papers, they're finding all of these new amazing insights. And I would say that's really what goes on at ARDD. It's, research and drug discovery meeting for aging. But then we also have on our other side our healthcare providers and our consumers, right? The people who are going to have to make this applicable at the end of the day. So there's a huge gap between those two groups, between the research arm and the clinical side of things. And that research is really never going to come to market unless you have industry companies like TruDiagnostic, like the other sponsors that we see at ARDD, really transforming that research and almost translating it in a way that's easy to understand for the end consumer. So we kind of sit in the middle of those two groups, and we're trying to bridge that gap as much as possible.
Well, and there are definitely effects to bridging that gap, as you just said. So again, huge congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very excited, and we'll be speaking about that, systems score or symphony age score. It's had a couple of name changes in the past because we really think a big area of future research should focus on validating these individual system scores in diverse populations. We need to explore their potential in guiding clinical decision making. They can even be useful for developing targeted therapeutic interventions and even monitoring the efficacy of treatments aimed at slowing the aging process or mitigating its adverse effects. So the integration of systems-based methylation clocks into clinical practice, though, I think heralds an entirely new era in personalized geriatric care, again, emphasizing that prevention, that early intervention and tailored management of age-related conditions.
Exactly, and this is one of the golden standards. Like we can't treat something that we don't know that the patient has, or we just suspect the patient might have. We want certainty as much as possible. So and you're helping with that. That's absolutely wonderful.
Of course. Yeah, we're super excited. And yeah, looking forward to obviously connecting and meeting everyone in person too.
Yeah, and that's happening very soon in actually exactly 2 months. Wow, look, it's the 26th. That's crazy. That's a good date. And I know the bar you set is very, very high since you just published this symphony clock. But can I ask you if you don't mind sharing what's next on the agenda? What is the next thing you hope to celebrate?
Oh, there are so many things. It's, where do I want to start? Well, one thing I'll talk about, which I'm sure will also be a discussion at ARDD, Dominica, is going to be a software we're actually creating.
Oh,
It'll be ready before ARDD, or it should be, but we're actually deploying it and doing some beta tests with it in about a month. So we realize in the epigenetic space, most people can't read their own data even, right? They process this, really, really large data at the lab, and we don't actually understand how to look at it in terms of, QA, QC, data normalization, if those samples, again, pass or fail specific thresholds. So we realized that there is a massive need for some type of software that could do this. So we've actually created a DNA methylation software that's, like I mentioned, very close to launching. And that innovative tool will enable outside labs or outside researchers to generate turnkey reporting and even white label them for the end user. So I can definitely even send you, if you want to link it, Dominica, a PDF and a video to
of course.
understand our
Yes, please.
software, capabilities. And this allows people to, again, run very simple analyses, upload data, handle QA, QC data normalization, and turnkey reporting. So if there's anyone out there who's listening and they're running epigenetic data, but not sure what to do with it, as most people we found don't know what to do with it. It's kind of like we have our entire process on a silver platter for them, ready to go and ready for them to use to analyze new correlations and connections. So that is something we've been working very, very hard on the past 9 months, and I'm excited to say will be launched very soon.
Well, and I'm sure the day you launch will feel like Christmas to many people who actually have this data and they don't know what to do about it. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's so many exciting things to talk about. And I am really more than impressed to hear the scope of what you're doing. And I also know that your pathway to the longevity field or to the diagnostics field is actually a pretty interesting one. You started with the molecular biology, if I'm correct, back in college, right?
Yeah, correct. I did. I was always interested in, science, the way the world worked, and always had a pretty determined spirit to want to change the world and using some type of advanced technology like we're doing today. So previously, we owned a pharmacy that created really unique, novel peptide pharmaceuticals, and we always wanted more quantitative information around how those products were actually helping people. So when we had the pharmacy, we were creating TruDiagnostic on the back end without necessarily even knowing it. And then, in 2019, we sold the pharmacy and just focused solely on TruDiagnostic. First, to just create the best biological age clock that's ever been created to date. We did that back in October, and now we realize that epigenetics as a biomarker platform has so much more potential to make a difference in the healthcare system. It's really causing a paradigm shift, not only in traditional lab testing or the medical field, but I think in the world. I mean, you can extrapolate epigenetics to anything, including things like other therapeutics, agriculture implications, right? Drug discovery implications. I mentioned the skin clock earlier, cosmeceuticals, uh, more pharma even approaches as well with that drug discovery. So it's very, very exciting. Mm-hmm.
It is. It is, and it actually sparked one question that is unrelated to the path I wanted to take right now, which was focused on you, Hannah, as an individual. But let me ask this question before I forget. So, how do you ensure actually when you mentioned that the epigenetics can be extrapolated to everything? And I fully agree. But for people who are not that experienced in how these clocks work, how do you ensure that the epigenetic effect is specifically due to the parameter you're measuring rather than the noise that's coming from the environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. So think of epigenetics as like a fingerprint of your own body, right? When you send a sample to our lab, what we essentially do is measure 1 million of those markers. And we look at certain things that are turned off and turned on. At the end of the day, that's what epigenetics is. It's the expression of your DNA. From those 1 million markers, we can actually tell you how much you've smoked across your entire lifetime, how much alcohol you've consumed, where you live based on your zip code. So it's really a fingerprint where you can compare yourself to a specific exposed group, or a better definition of that would be a control to an exposed group. To give you a real world example on this, we're working with a Cornell on a project for neurosyphilis. So neurosyphilis is very invasive. To become diagnosed, you have to go in the clinic, you have to pay $10,000, you have to get a spinal lumbar puncture. And obviously that's very uncomfortable, extremely invasive. What we can do with the blood spot card is look at those methylation markers of controls versus the ones with neurosyphilis and actually diagnose neurosyphilis with just a couple of drops of blood by looking at those epigenetic markers. So that's a real life example. It all comes back to that specific study and how the clock's being created. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's fascinating. And we will also link the study below for people who want to take an even deeper dive into this. And, I really wish I could ask you 100 more questions, but I will have to leave that for ARDD in person because unfortunately, we're running out of time. Thank you so much for answering the questions. It's been really lovely. I learned a lot, and I'm sure that the listeners and viewers will be left with so much wanting more as I was left with. So thank you. I can't wait for your talk at ARDD, and I keep my fingers crossed for the next milestones in the way.
Perfect. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.